Hey friends, welcome into the Bloom in Faith with MW podcast, a Christian podcast for the busy, blessed, and bold. I'm your host, Marika, a wife and a mama to two sweet little blessings, and I've created this podcast as a safe space for you and I to unwind, unravel, and unlearn everything that we've been taught in this world and do it all the God way. Welcome in, you guys, to episode 9, the last and final episode to the Back to Basics series. Wow, I have a lot to say about this series. If you have not listened to the first 2 episodes before you listen in on this episode, I highly recommend that you go ahead and do so just so it can all tie together, because that's what I'm going to be doing in this episode and kind of just giving one last hoorah to the Back to Basics. But to hear the feedback that I received from you guys in the comments and all of you that have reached out to me personally, um, wow. I don't really have the words other than just wow. Like, for me to have this vision of doing this series and then to hear how much it has blessed you all, to hear how much it has touched you, to hear all the things that the Lord has revealed to you through my words, as I allow him to speak through me to you, is just, there's really no words. And all glory goes to God, because that is the point of this podcast, right? The point is for you, and my objective in this podcast is for us to bloom where we're planted, to allow the Lord to meet us where we're at in every season and teach us valuable lessons so that we can continue to flourish. And just seeing it all come to fruition is just such an amazing feeling. So thank you all again for being here and supporting me, and just sharing it with everybody and reaching the audience that we have. If you're watching this on Apple, hi. Feel free to go ahead and follow me on here and leave a 1 through 5 star review. And then you're more than welcome to leave a comment on there as well as a review. And if you're watching me on YouTube, as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your fam and friends. And then on Spotify as well, go ahead and follow me on there and leave a 1 through 5 star review, because we're growing, y'all, and I want y'all to be a part of my community that I'm building. And it's just so amazing because we have so many exciting things happening in the coming months. And I don't want to speak on it too early because things are still happening, but really exciting changes are happening. Really exciting things are going on behind the scenes. And I really just want to share it all with you. But I want the Lord to do what he's doing, and you all will see it when it happens. So again, thank you for being here. And as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about the difference of living for the world versus living for God. And kind of just to tie it all together. So in the very first episode of this series, we talked about who God is, what does he even do, what is he even like, and the most important question being, if God is all of these great things, then why does he allow bad things to happen? And in the previous episode, which was the second episode of the series, we've talked about prayer and why prayer is so important and what good things can come out of prayer and who we pray to. And now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about living for the world versus living for God, and why we should get out of that living for the world mindset and living for the world stamina, for lack of a better word, and get out of that and just living for God. Now, I want to start this off by saying, again, that I'm going to try my absolute best not to ramble today. There is no set questions that I'm going to have be doing in this episode, so you won't have to go down to the description bar and kind of skip to those questions. I'm going to be just talking about the same thing essentially throughout this episode. However, as always, if there are any questions that you have and anything that I say, you're more than welcome to comment it down below or reach out to me on any of my socials, which you will see in the description box below. Or you can reach me via email if you have any prayer requests or just simply any questions. You'll see my email down below as well. But I want to start off today's series episode with a Bible verse. So if you have your Bibles, go ahead and open up to 1 John to verse 15. So we're going to be going through verse 15 to 17. And it's talking about having love for this world. And it is so important to take each Bible verse for the context that it's in and not kind of warp it into your own. Let me backtrack. We all have our own revelations to each Bible verse, but when we're being told not to do something or we're being told to do something, we need to take it for the exact context that it's taking in and not have our own revelation and take only bits and pieces of it that we want to. No, we need to take it for the whole thing that it is, whether we like it or not. So 1 John 2 verse 15, it states, "Do not love the world nor the things it offers. For when you love the world, you do not have the love of the Father in you. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, and a pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from the world. And this world is fading away, along with everything that people crave. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever." So, what is this saying? What exactly does this Bible verse mean? And it's telling me not to love this world or anything in it because then the love of God is not in me. What the heck does that mean? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. Simply put, Satan is the ruler of this earth. He gives us things, and I'm not to say that everything in this earth is bad. We do great things in this earth. We can make a change in this earth as, like-minded believers and as Christians, children of God, so be it, right? But when it says, "Do not love the world nor the things that it offers you, for when you love the world, you do not have the love of the Father in you." When you put more emphasis on things of this earth, or when you put more pride of things of this earth, or you appreciate and love the things of this earth more than you love God, that is when it's wrong. And that is when the love of God is not in you. It says, "For the world only offers a craving for physical pleasures, a craving for everything we see, and a pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from the world." So when we place our worth and when we place our attention and we almost like idolize it. It's like we will do anything in this world to get what we want out of this world for the time that we have in it. But if I'm being honest, it should be the exact opposite. While we're called on this earth to do great things, and God has put special gifts in us to further the kingdom here on earth and make disciples, and good things come out of the things that God has blessed us with in this earth. But when we put it above God, and when we love the world more than God, and when we love the things of this world more than we love God, that is when God draws a line and he's like, "No, do not do it, because if you do this, if you love everything more than if you love everything in this earth more than you love me, I'm drawing the line. My love is not in you, because you cannot serve two masters at the same time." That's another Bible verse that comes to mind, and I wish I knew where exactly it came from. But it says that you cannot serve two masters at the same time, meaning like money and God. You cannot love the things of this world and love God at the same time. Like I said, and I keep saying, you cannot love these things above God. God should become number one in your life. He should come first before anything else in this world. And then it goes on to say, "The world is fading away, along with everything that people crave. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever." So, what exactly is the ending of this verse saying? It is fair to say that this life on earth is like this compared to eternity. When I think of eternity, I get overwhelmed because I'm like, I think of life and the days just go on so slow. And life, sometimes you have those days and those seasons where everything is just moving too slow and everything is just not moving steadily. And I think of eternity, and eternity never stops. And I so badly do not want God to say, "Shoo away, I never knew you," when it's time for us, the second coming, la da da. Like, I do not want him to say, "I never knew you." I will do anything in my power to make sure that I am bringing souls to Christ, that I am in right standing with the Lord. Okay? I don't want to love anything more than I love God. And I'm going to be so honest and vulnerable with you guys. I have had to do multiple social media fasts because I realized the time that I've spent on social media is times that I could be spending with God. And in return, it's showing that I'm idolizing social media, that I'm putting social media in my love for scrolling and watching TikToks and loving reels and connecting with other people, and having no meaningful conversations, just to talk, right? I'm putting that above God. I'm putting that above sharpening my relationship with him. I'm putting these things above God and, furthering my relationship with him. And when you do these things and you don't know you're doing them, you're not technically wrong because you were not yet convicted. But when you do get convicted and you're like, okay, God, whoa, like you're showing me that I have these idols in my life. You're showing me that my phone is an idol. You're showing me that um this task that I do every day is an idol because I'm spending too much time doing it, but I could be spending this time with you. I could be doing these things. I could be not doing these things, but instead getting in your presence. Instead, I could be telling someone else about you. Instead, I could be in praise and worship with you, blasting my favorite songs, having a praise dance party with my kids, with my family, because we do that very often in this house. We have praise parties quite often, especially when they're overstimulating me. I like to play praise music and we just have a dance party, and they love it and I love it because I'm connecting with my source and they're getting their extra energy out by dancing and playing and doing all of the fun things. Um, but it is so important that we do not live for the world, because this world is like this when it comes to eternity. Our priorities, now that we have a an idea of who God is and how we can deepen our relationship with him from the previous episodes, now we're coming to the realization that, okay, I could be doing more. I could be doing more, and I could be readjusting my days to glorify the Lord. I could be readjusting my time to win souls to him. I could be readjusting my time to sharpening my knowledge and who God is and what he does, and sharpening my prayer life. I mean, whatever that could look like to you. We do not want, as Christians, we are called not to love this world. Now, we can love our accomplishments. We can work towards our accomplishments. We're called to have goals in this life. We can have goals. We can do everything that we need to make those goals happen and to meet those goals. And it's great because we can see God working in the little details of these areas, right? We can see God's touch in his hand on these areas of our life that he's touched, our wants and our likes and the things that we work for in this life. But when we put that above God and we put that above our relationship with him, that's when everything can go left. And we should not do that. Um, it's a work in progress. It's never going to be something that could be done like this and it's done. I mean, it might for you, and if that is freaking great. Like, I'm happy. I'm so happy for you. But there's been so many times in my life where I've seen God tell me to do something and I'll get convicted, and I choose to listen to his voice because I know that good things come out of it. But man, the process is so hard. I'm like, when my kids are stressing me out, initially, my first thing that I want to do when they're like calm and I'm trying to calm myself down, scroll on TikTok and scroll on Pinterest and scroll on Instagram and scroll on Facebook and scroll everywhere. My first thought never initially was to open my Bible and get into his word, connecting with the source. That was never ever a first thought for me until the Lord convicted me. And now I get convicted and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a praise party with my kids. I'm going to open up the word and I'm going to read Bible verses that can calm my heart. I'm going to read Bible verses that teach me about overwhelm. I'm going to read Bible verses about stressful times. I'm going to read about the people of the Bible that have went through trying times like I did, and how you, God, got them through these areas of life. That is what I do now. And it's been a work in progress. It's not been easy. I will not sit here and make it seem like, oh, it's been peaches and cream. Like, it's been so easy. If I can do it, you can do it too. While I do believe that, I definitely do believe that. If I can do it, you can do it too. You just have to want to. You really have to want to. Um, and so, if there's anything that I want you to get out of today's episode, it's this: to live for God, to make everything that you do ensure, hi, Kayvon, to ensure that He gets the glory through the process, to ensure that you're not setting up everything in this world and putting more focus of things on this world and in this world above God, because He's a jealous God. He wants that relationship with you. He put you on this earth for a purpose that is not only good for Him, but it's also good for you, right? So when we sorry, my toddler's and one of my toddlers in the room, so I have to keep my eyes on him because he's one of those, y'all. But when we keep our eyes on God and we see the little details of Him working in our life, it is so amazing to see how He can bring us from point A to point Z. I think I've said that in a previous episode before as well. But living for the world is something that we should all ask ourselves. Everything that I'm doing today, everything that I've done in the past, is it me setting up treasures on this earth? Or is it me setting up treasures for heaven and winning souls to Christ and glorifying Him through everything? You really have to check your heart posture in this process. And like I said, it's not going to be easy, but you can do it if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and end off today's episode here. I pray that this episode has blessed you, and I pray that the Back to Basics series has really touched your heart and allowed you to grow and get the basis of who God is and why it's important that we should have a relationship with Him. And once we've gotten that down and we've gotten that, to like a solid standpoint, then we can touch on the topic. You need to go pee. Yes. Okay. Go pee pee. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to see my kids come into these episodes saying absurd things. Like, this is just the raw and uncut version of my life. If you needed anything relatable, it was probably just that. We're potty training my youngest. So, and he's crying. Oh my goodness. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and end off today's episode here. Like always, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and feel free to share it with all of your family, your friends. And I will go ahead and see you all next Friday. Bye, friends.